did you ever have a rival?
Oh, no.
Like,
I don't think so.
Straight Light Run, at the very beginning, wasn't that a bit of a...
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, I mean, as far as rap battles go in emo, like, we were the closest, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Taking Back Sunday Brand New was, like, the OG.
Yeah.
Like, write songs about each other, like diss tracks, which I don't know. Maybe I'm just uninformed. I have a terrible memory. We all know that, but maybe it happened more often than I thought. But at the time, or shortly after, when I realized how popular it was with kids, that there were diss tracks and people were like reading into lyrics and trying to find out what drama happened, I was like, how has someone not manufactured this? Why have bands not started beef, even with like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge?
Wasn't the Kanye 50 Cent beef, wasn't that like famously staged? Because theirs was like, who can sell the most records in the first week? So
Right. They had like a public like challenge.
They're on the cover of Rolling Stone facing each other. Like
Right.
So you had like maybe like a second wave emo-ish version of that?
The rivalry, the diss tracks were actually real between Taking Back Sunday and Brand New.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I wasn't implying that any of that was like...
No, but I was inspired by that because I have this like left brain, right brain thing. And I was like, well, how has someone not done that to make an interesting story? Like, how has someone not applied professional wrestling to music and gone with characters and like made this... I mean, you have it with the Guars and, you know... occasionally you get bands that are like art rock, like Foxy Shazam was probably the closest thing our scene had to one. I don't know if you're familiar or
of course
have seen them, but
of course,
great band, super fun. Anyway, so Straight Light Run theoretically would have had a rivalry with Taking Back Sunday because there was drama of people leaving, but there wasn't as much as you might think. And for me personally, yes. What was your question? No. I want to get into it.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you think it was it more implied? And so people kind of took that and ran with it in their imaginations more so than it was real?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, there was definitely some tension, obviously, because of two of the guys that like left the band.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they left for a reason. And I'm sure the people that were on the other side of it felt hurt and shunned and whatever by those people leaving, especially at a time when things were going really well.
Yeah.
And it was, they almost derailed this project, the band, you know. It could have not recovered. So I'm sure tensions were high, blah, blah, blah. But from my perspective, my old band, Breaking Pangea, as you're familiar, Fred, when I went... Oh, it was Fred first, actually. Fred went to join Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah.
So Fred went to join the band. I started Straight Light Run with the two guys that left.
Right.
So I would go visit Fred sometimes if he was like, if we were near the same place or if I was visiting somewhere and he was doing, you know, I would like sometimes stay at his hotel. Like I remember being in LA for some reason after a tour and Taking Back Sunday was like releasing a record. So I like crashed on his floor in the hotel room and was like hanging out with him for a few days while they were doing like in-store performances to support their new record. And I was like, it felt like I was behind enemy lines, but there was no drama whatsoever for me personally. I'm sure
for
people
the listeners
didn't feel...
For the listeners who don't know you, it may sound a little funny, but to me, and I'm sure anyone else who knows you, it makes complete sense that you're just like,
whatever.
Don't care, doesn't affect me, etc., etc.
Sometimes I think about how little I was thinking about other people. Like maybe I should have not been there out of respect for those other people, but I was like, I didn't do anything. Like, if anything, I encouraged my bandmate to leave my band to go join their band. So I don't know how they'd be mad at me or have a grudge against me.
Right.
Well, I guess
it's just like by association. That's the only thing.
The other side of that coin, I guess, is that I'm sleeping with their ex. Anyway, that's like the closest thing I probably had to a rivalry, and it was like I made it unrivalry.
Come on, do a beautiful show. It's gonna be awesome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of It's Always Stockholm in Los Angeles. Today, we are talking about Season 5, Episode 12 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Gang Reignites the Rivalry. This episode was written by Charlie Day and Dave Chernin and directed by Randall Einhorn.
So in this episode, we've got Frank wearing skinny jeans for some reason. Dee comes in with great news, bitches. The ban has been lifted and Flipadelphia is back. Then we get the backstory of the gang maybe poisoning some people in the Flip Cup competition because they weren't going to win, which then they had their 10-year ban, but 10 years has passed. So the entire episode is really them trying to reignite this rivalry with their old rivals from Molly's bar, restaurant, whatever. But they soon find out that Molly's has grown up in the past 10 years, and now it's like a fancy Italian place, or I guess Irish pub, fancy Irish.
A little unclear. There's French fries and stuff. Yeah, go
It's
on.
French fries, seemingly cloth napkins. It's not the dive bar they remember.
Everyone knows what we're talking about. French fries, cloth napkins. You know the place.
Yeah, it's the place that you would probably go with your parents when they were visiting. You know?
Yeah.
It's that place. So,
Poison tap water.
possibly. No, Charlie doesn't have any poison on him. It's in the fridge at home. Art Sloan from Molly's doesn't seem to remember or care about this rivalry. The gang tries to make it happen. Doesn't really happen. But while looking for a replacement for Dee on the Flip Cup team, they run into Dennis's old frat mates, I guess. Not his frat mates, but the current class of his fraternity. And they get punked a bunch. And they get, razzed by these little college shitheads. And they realize, eventually, that the rivalry is not with the fancy bar, because that's moved on. That's over. That's old. The new rivalry is with this fraternity. So anyway, so they reignite it. And that's basically the story.
The opening scene, boy, oh boy, does it start out strong. We get
God.
Danny DeVito / Frank Reynolds in skinny jeans because he wants to stay young, which is a recurring theme.
Right. I guess that does. I didn't even think about it. To me, this seemed like an arbitrary addition of skinny jeans. But yeah, you're right. It does have to deal with like moving on and,
Right.
holding on to the past.
He's just walking around. It's funny by itself. Probably could have been 22 minutes just of that, and I would have been okay with it.
Right. Or they could have cut the episode at 30 seconds and we would have reviewed it in A+.
I am getting a tremendous amount of enjoyment watching you parade around in those things, so I say keep them.
Yeah?
Dee comes flying in with the news of the ban being lifted. There's a great discussion about the being unfairly accused of poisoning them.
They very, very unfairly accused us of poisoning our rival team.
You got framed?
No, we did poison the shit out of them, but they didn't have any proof.
Yeah, they didn't have any evidence.
So I guess in a sense that is unfair.
Is it unfair?
To the characters of this show, yes.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Okay.
There's some discussion about jamming it up their buttholes. She has a really great squeaky response when they tell her that she's not involved, and I'll plop it in here.
Yeah, she doesn't have a huge role in this, like line for line. She doesn't have a ton of screen time or line time, but man, she makes it count.
Oh my God. Yeah, the first scene and the last scene she delivers 2 lines in a very incredible way. And then we get like a pretty weak transition to the title card. This is the end of the season. I think you said it a couple weeks ago. Probably should have just stopped at 10. The Dennis system.
Well, I say that because of the last episode wasn't my fave, but this episode is one of my favorite. I love this episode.
We have very different views of this episode then.
In the meantime, what do you say we throw a little gas in the rivalry fire?
I mean, I'll agree with you there. The title screen, there's no joke. There's nothing there.
There was no attempt. I mean, whatever. I'm being like critical of this show, but I just want to reiterate, like, this is my favorite show, and I could not have done it better. They're geniuses. Still, compared to their other work, not the best.
I agree on the very specific case of the title screen.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think just in that opening scene, a couple of great delivered lines, a couple of great concepts, Frank and skinny jeans, so good. So, do we have some alliances that we need to discuss?
This is an interesting point here, Will, because I believe these are the exact same alliances as the last episode. Frank Dennis,
Oh, it was bad. We both got punked.
Yeah, we both got punked, Frank.
out.
We both
Just
got
punked.
punked.
Charlie Mack,
No, I'm telling you no, dude. I'm telling you no.
Guys, we're trying to have a conversation.
No.
D by herself.
Yeah, I don't feel well at all. They poisoned me.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, wow. They're not really competing.
No.
You know,
They're
all
doing
kind-
different. They're doing different parts of the same plan.
Right, exactly, which is sort of kind of quasi similar. And there's some crossover, and then they all unite at the end.
Yeah.
But D gets screwed over in both,
D thinks she's aligned. She is not.
which I
She
guess
is,
that
she's
one,
but a pawn in their game.
that part actually does track. It doesn't seem that out of character or
No,
abnormal.
not at all. We could talk about Glenn Howerton's unhinged performance in this episode.
Yeah, I gotta say that was definitely a talking point for me. When he comes back to the bar after being punked by his fraternity.
That's not fun. What they were doing wasn't fun. They kept zapping us and zapping us.
No,
Idiots!
zap,
Zapping us,
zap.
idiots!
Jesus Christ, dude. Man, calm down.
And
Yeah.
he loses it. Well, he starts to lose it a little bit while he's being tased. Understandably.
I would say definitely starts losing it.
Don't do that shit again, you little idiot. Okay? Have some respect for a brother, okay? I'm a legend around this place, so don't zap me again.
But I just want to point out. Okay, so Dennis's issue with the theme of this episode, which is like you said, like moving on or like reclaiming your youth.
Mm-hmm.
So his thing is like he still sees himself as this like frat brother from 15 years ago. He's a legend. He's the king of hijinks and pranks and messing with people. And he goes back and he learns within, I'm going to say 30 seconds, that that's not the case.
Probably less because he chugs dick.
Oh, I chug dick? No. What? I don't chug dick. That's crazy. Why would you even put that's not funny?
That's a good point. Right off the bat, we get a really weird pasted on face of Glenn Howerton. I read it was because that he thought that he looked too different when he was that age, which I don't know about that. So they used like a recent picture of him and they just glued it on.
Right. So it's a very odd, it's like a yearbook picture of his graduating class on the wall, and someone defiled it with graffiti that says, it's a little speech bubble that says, I chug dick.
Right.
Which is funny because I don't know if you noticed, but later on during the paint party scene, there's a dude in the background that has his chest painted that says chug this with an arrow pointing down to his dick.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Very smart. Very smart. So he gets like tased also right away. He thinks that he's being disrespected.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. It's pretty disrespectful.
He's a very disrespectful person.
But it's the question, I guess, is that does he deserve respect in such that they're being disrespectful? Are they giving him less respect than he deserves? Or is that the normal amount of respect that some old dude walking into a frat deserves?
I think the way that he presented himself to the frat bros set the table for them treating him like shit, because he's just like, he's announcing how old he is compared to them.
Right.
And he's saying that like, yeah, give me the taser. I'll do it because I'm the king of this shit.
Right. Yeah.
And so of course they're going to fuck with him.
Yeah, he definitely sets it up. He's a little arrogant when he rolls in.
And then when they go back to the bar, he's doing the idiot savages classic bit.
Mm-hmm.
When he's nail gunning the guy's shoes to the floor, and
Yep.
I mean that's actually one of my favorite scenes is because he's saying that these kids are being disrespectful and they don't understand that their actions have consequences while he's doing something totally insane.
But you don't stun gun a guy who is a goddamn legend.
No!
Those guys, they need to recognize that shit. I was a trailblazer.
Right.
Completely disrespectful and something that should definitely have consequences, vandalizing someone's house.
Yeah, and they do an interesting job. He's nail gunning the dude's shoes to the floor.
Right.
While Frank is tying his dress shirt's arms in knots.
Well, Frank is under the influence of Ritterall.
Wow, Frank, that Ritterall is having a very interesting effect on the way you think.
Love this feeling.
Yeah. Got any more of it?
Right,
Which-
right.
I feel like even before Dennis rails a line with him, they're already kind of like acting the same. Like I feel like Dennis is like got a contact high almost.
Well, yeah, he's fueled by rage and revenge, or
Yeah.
you know.
And Frank is fueled by drugs and is the twisting the arm, the sleeves of the shirts, the cutting of
funny.
the shower curtain, does his taxes.
Yeah, okay, so those three things are pretty insane. Tying shirts and arms in knots, I guess that would be annoying. It's a pretty
Would
good
be
prank,
very
I
annoying.
guess.
Yeah.
The shower curtain is amazing because it's see-through and it's in his home.
Right.
And the purpose is such that when he takes a shower, without somehow noticing that the shower curtain is cut, people will see his junk.
Right.
So that's amazing. And I think Dennis rightfully points out that he's on drugs, and he appreciates how he doesn't know what he's doing, but he appreciates the energy or something. And then, the taxes prank is fucking brilliant.
I'm doing this jerk off's taxes. Next year, the IRS will audit the piss out of him.
Oh, that's so weird. That's long-term shit. Yes.
And Frank's probably like really good at like fucking up taxes.
Oh yeah. I mean,
He's had
we've
so much
kind of
experience.
established that. Yeah, he knows how to cook the books, so he probably knows how to uncook the books. And then I guess if we wanted to follow the theme, we've got Frank, skinny jeans, trying to prevent aging or looking back.
He
Dennis,
specifically says he wants to look young.
right, and then Dennis, try to relive his glory days or like force people to respect him because of who he was in the past. And then Mac and Charlie, when they go off to the party to recruit people when Dennis and Frank fail, it's different for them because they're not like reliving their glory days, but they realize what they were missing.
They see what they didn't have.
Yeah,
And
so
are filled
it's-
with regret.
Exactly. So it's similar, but it's like kind of the opposite side of that coin. They get into a little bit when they're all painted up at the bar afterward, dejected.
If I had known college was anything like that, the amount of book learning I would have put to my brain.
Math, dude.
I love Charlie's Goodwill Hunting plan that he really hasn't thought beyond like learning the lines from the movie.
Well, yeah, I guess to him it was just like a good bit,
So all I gotta do is I'll ask them some like big shot like math or science history type college question, and then I'll totally stump them by knowing a lot more about the answer than they do.
Well, he sees a janitor owning someone, so he's like, "Yeah, I'm a janitor too."
Exactly. I just have to say that line.
Right.
It's pretty fun when Mac calls him out on it.
Yeah, in that movie, Matt Damon played a genius janitor. You're just a janitor.
Right. Hey, stumped me with that one.
Yeah, you didn't have a comeback for that.
I think the line that Charlie says is to Mac is, "How about you ask the math or history type question?" "Oh, but you're not a janitor," and he's like, back to square one.
Right. Like that's the key.
I guess Dee isn't trying to reclaim any youth. They just need her to get poisoned.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could bring it full circle, but yeah, she's just looking for their approval,
I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Will, have you ever played Flip Cup?
Here's the thing. I have never played Flip Cup. I did play beer pong once.
Uh-huh.
I didn't drink the beer in the cup, though. I just I think I had a partner that would do it or something.
Yeah, Flip Cup's pretty fun, but I think that the frat guys were correct in their assessment that it's like, what are you, freshmen?
It seems like the kind of game that is sort of one-dimensional in that you do it for a while and then you're like, okay, this is...
Yeah, it's pretty juvenile. It's pretty like...
Seems like it plateaus at some point pretty quickly.
Yeah, and then you're just like, well, why don't I just like hang out and sip on this beer instead of like having to play a game to drink it? An interesting fact about Flip Cup, a 2017 survey by the American Addiction Centers found Flip Cup to be the most quickly intoxicating drinking game played by those surveyed, with participants being able to reach a theoretical blood alcohol content of 0.08, the legal driving limit, within 20 minutes. I would say it's way less than 20 minutes. As an experienced Flip Cup player, way less than 20 minutes.
I mean, do you drink an entire beer, or is it just like, because
No.
it seems like the cup is like half or 1/3 full?
Yeah, I think there's like a little line on the inside of those red Solo cups. I haven't done this in decades, but I'm pretty sure there's like a 1/3,
Right.
1/4 line.
But
I mean, I've definitely played it where the you play with like a full cup. That's a different thing.
right. I mean, okay, so you chug the beer, however much it is, which seems, I don't know if there are drinking games where you don't chug a beer at some point or the drink. It seems like that's kind of part of the game.
Yes.
But isn't there like a lot of like waiting, or as soon as the last person flips and then someone wins, do you just start over at the top?
Yeah, I guess like in my experience, like winner stays and then a new team comes up.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Then
So it gets harder,
people-
you know, like, yeah.
Right. You're getting more drunk as you go. Also, again, never played the game. I'll defer to you, but when Dee pulls off her magical 10 in a row, does it seem like she's cheating a little bit with her
I
second
had that written
hand?
down, yes, because you're only supposed to use one hand, and they're not like super close up on it, but it does look like she's using two hands.
Oh, I mean, she's her left hand is turning the cup over.
And I will suspend my disbelief because I'm sure that it was very annoying to shoot that.
Yeah.
And there's a cut in there too, like after the
it's
second
at
one or
least
whatever.
One, yeah.
Yeah. So I understand the
Right.
the reality of it, but I don't know. You could have cut every time she did one, and whatever, it's fine.
Right. But I will give her and them credit for that last cup. Pretty
The
impressive.
no look.
Yeah. She's just like
Yeah.
very ballsy. She's looking at the gang, not even looking at the table, and nails it.
I think one of the funniest bits about Dee, aside from being poisoned and everything, is at the beginning when they're like, okay, well, the only way you can be on our team is if you sit here and practice, and she like walks, I don't know, 5 feet away.
That ought to keep her busy for at least a week
I
or
don't
so.
think she'll ever get that.
Okay, in the meantime, let's find a replacement.
Which is the amount of time they need to replace her. Let's discuss Frank and Charlie's fridge for just 1 second. Okay.
Very important.
We've got poison in the relish jar.
Is poison in that jar? I thought I was allergic to pickles.
He's just being poisoned slowly.
Right.
And if that's the case, then well, what's in the poison jar? Because there's a jar with skull and crossbones.
Well, that's mayonnaise. That's a decoy.
Not outlandish to me that Charlie would have poison in his fridge, as he's like king of the rat killers.
Right. And then
Wait, king of the rats? What would you call him? He's a professional rat killer. That's what
right.
I should say.
I think at some point he does refer to him as king of rats, right?
Yeah. Do
might be in
kings
the
just
episode.
kill all of their subjects?
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Kind of? Yeah.
You're right.
okay.
Like
Yeah.
he's just a little more direct about it and not getting any tax money. Anyway, so mayo is in the poison jar, and he's, to which Frank responds, well, what's in the mayo jar? What have I been putting on my sandwiches or whatever?
That shampoo.
You telling me I've been putting shampoo on my sandwiches?
If you're using the mayonnaise, yeah.
I don't understand why, but
Yeah, that one logically makes the least sense, but the joke of Frank eating sandwiches for, 3 years now with shampoo?
right.
Pretty good.
amazing. Okay, so that's A, is just getting a grip on that. That exchange is amazing. B, do they have a fridge?
I'm guessing it's a mini fridge. I'm guessing there's a mini fridge in the apartment.
I just don't know where it would be. I mean,
I think it's a brown. I think it's a brown mini fridge, if I'm remembering this
Okay,
correctly.
under their hot plate, like over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get an image of this. See if I can see it. Oh nope, there it is. Okay, so it's in the corner. Say you're entering Charlie and Frank's apartment.
Right.
It is against the farthest wall on the right. It's right up against the random door where the hot plate is. There's like a
Right.
a table with the hot plate on it,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
that door that we're guessing goes to another apartment.
Right. That they have
Or
blocked
like-
off.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that makes
So-
sense. That's their kitchen area. So
It's a brown mini fridge.
okay. I just wasn't sure because I've never seen them use
Yeah.
it. But
That's a fair point.
so, but I guess they need the ingredients for a grilled Charlie. So
Right. And you gotta have a place to keep your poison cool.
Does I guess depending on the type of poison, poison could go bad.
Yeah.
When poison goes bad, does it become less poisonous?
It becomes mayonnaise or relish, I guess.
Okay, so one of my favorite lines from Dee in this episode is when she shouts that she does not have bison fingers.
Yeah, it's her bison-sized finger.
I don't have bison fingers.
Oh, yes, you do. Your mother had to have a C-section because of those hands.
Which is funny because Dennis theoretically was born at the same time. Actually, Dennis was born 6 minutes later, right?
After, right?
Yeah. I hope at some point they reference Dennis being natural birth. That'd be amazing.
I think my favorite D line, if we're talking about D, is when Art Sloan comes in,
Right.
and is like angry, like, why didn't you guys did all this shit? You vandalized my house. You didn't show up for the Flip Cup tournament, or you didn't show up today, I think is what he says.
Right.
And D says,
Show up for what?
I don't know how to describe the delivery, but it's just so.
Well, she's in character at that point, and she's doing a great job.
It's like acidic, and she's eating what I'm guessing is like broth in her sweatpants because she's been poisoned.
Yeah, this is post Flip Cup frat challenge where she was poisoned, I'm assuming the night before. And yeah, she's just in a great character. You know, I mean, she's D, but she's, I don't know, she's killing it in that scene. Just sitting cross-legged in one of the booths, sipping soup, recovering from her poisoning. One of my favorite scenes from the episode was Charlie and Mac when they enter the painting party, frat party.
Yeah.
So they're just like wide-eyed, staring around.
Oh my! What is going on in here, dude? Oh my! Woohoo!
And rightfully so, just blown away by a bunch of attractive young college girls in their underwear being painted and painting other people, astonished at why no one told them how amazing college was and why they didn't go and blah, blah, blah. So when they meet the two girls who want to paint them, I think it's after they say, well, we're going to paint you and then you're going to paint us. At some point, Mac and Charlie hug each other, and it, to me, is like the most genuine thing and the most like sweet thing that I've seen maybe in this entire series.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. So excuse us.
Are you ready?
Yeah, no, we're ready. We're ready.
Yeah. They're so happy. They finally got a win.
Right, and I mean, I guess it's in a creepy way, but it just feels so wholesome. Like this show doesn't have many wholesome moments, but this one feels like it. It really does. I mean, Charlie, he gets that one rich chick, but otherwise he's just being turned down and turned down and turned down. And, you know, Mac doesn't have too much success. And it just really seems, and it doesn't make any sense because the girls are attractive and they seem genuinely interested in painting, being painted by, and showering with Mac and Charlie. So anyway, just a brief moment, a very unsunny-like moment of wholesomeness.
Yeah, it's two guys being friends, being overjoyed in the moment, and they're sharing it together.
Yeah, that was very special.
Did you find Dennis's yard message to be a little strange?
Yeah, no, that seemed like, I don't know if it was meant to be this way, but seemed like a great idea to Dennis.
A great idea to Dennis, who's sky high.
Who was high, but like more high on revenge. Like the same thing with like nail gunning his shoes to the floor.
Right.
And like clogging his sinks. It was destructive, but not particularly clever to me. And it showed his ego. What was it? Patty's have respect, I am legend?
Hey, do me a favor, man. Can you go upstairs and look down onto the lawn? I've done it. I've done something.
Oh, idiots. Have respect, idiots.
Have respect, idiots, I am legend.
Which is funny because
he's writing a message to Art, but more to the frat guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really, he's upset because no one is treating him like the legend that he is. Right. No one has respect for him as an elder brother.
Yeah. So I guess really the first part is the only message to Art, which is Patty's.
Right.
The rest is to someone else.
Yeah. He's addressing it to one person, and then entirely, you know, the rest of the message is a true feeling, but misdirected.
You brought up all the good points that I was going to bring up, but I guess a nice little cherry on top of this episode is the ending when Art Sloan slams the door.
What was that? Totally uncalled for.
Who slams a door?
Babies. That guy's got some real growing up to do. I mean, have some respect, for Christ's sakes. Goddamn savage.
The lack of self-awareness in the gang is like always funny to me.
Right. Because
and that's a perfect example of it.
You mentally cut back to Dennis pissing on the bar.
Right.
In the opening scene.
And like putting towels in the dude's toilet and running the sinks and like
right.
They
vandalizing
he did some
his house.
serious damage to his house. And then they get upset at him for slamming the door of their terrible bar.
Right, of their falling apart dive bar. The only thing that I have that I really wanted to mention was Dennis, and right there at the end, Dennis's suggestion that in attempting to remove Frank's skinny jeans, they burn them off.
Yank them.
They're not coming off.
Yank 'em,
You're gonna have to burn them off, I think.
And I can't think of anyone who would be able to address this topic better than you. And I would assume that you would probably not suggest that.
I wouldn't suggest
as a way of
it.
removing the jeans.
I wouldn't suggest it. It'll get really hot and you'll probably get some serious burns.
And you may not be able to get them off because they may be fused to your skin.
The skinny jeans could easily fuse to Frank's skin. And then you still have to take them off after that, and that's then we're talking like surgical.
Was it Charlie who had both his legs broken?
Yeah,
I think when they took those off, I think the scissors,
Right.
I think that method would have been the way. Those like safety shears or whatever.
There are other options, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
For the last episode in season 5, William, do you have a letter grade?
Ooh, I mean, I know this is not going to come as a shock, and it may be disputed, but A+ for me. I just think it was great. We haven't said it yet, but Flipadelphia. It's such a hook. I sing that often, and there are a few. It hasn't happened in a while, but there are a few lines from this series that I will drop into my daily lexicon.
Right.
Meme status as far as like through God all things are possible, so jot that down.
Jot that down. Yeah.
And Flipadelphia is one of them. It's not really appropriate, but it's catchy and I sing it. So between the painting scene, Charlie and Mac and their tender embrace, the poisoning reveal, their 10 years, like the Art Sloan rivalry that they forgot, just so many good moments for me.
Yeah. I am going to give this episode a B.
Oof.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. Having said that, I mean the Frank Dennis vandalizing scene is up there for me. It's so good. I love Frank being on Adderall and saying, "I love this feeling."
Ritterall.
I'm sorry, Ritterall. Right.
Which I'm assuming it's not real, and I'm assuming it's Ritalin and Adderall.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I mean, and then if you want to go back farther from there, Frank saying, "Ooh, Snorsky."
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yes.
Ooh, Snortsky. Oh, Oh, that's tasty stuff.
Like all of the drug use and the mania that comes with that is very funny in this episode. The pickles, poison, mayonnaise, shampoo bit is great, but like overall, I don't know. This one didn't do it for me. I mean, of course, it's still great, but looking forward to season 6. But before we get to season 6,
yes,
we are going to attempt something that's like maybe possible, maybe not, and we're going to start discussing the new season 15, starting later this week. I'm not sure when the episode will go up, but we're gonna. There's 2 episodes on Thursday?
Yeah, I think so. So this is going to be interesting. I guess we can discuss it later. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we might discuss both episodes.
I think that's probably the smartest thing.
Yeah, rather than
because they're going to do 2.
I
think they're going to do 2 a week the whole season.
Wait, also, I read that there were 8 episodes, which means by whole season they mean 1 month.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I guess that makes sense because some people just like dump a season on you and you can just binge it in a weekend. So
and also it's season 15 of a show where they're probably just like, let's go. But yeah, so we'll be back later this week with another episode,
and we're gonna try and figure it out. So yeah, if you're feeling like yeah, I saw these episodes 10 years ago. Next week, things change. We're going to try and keep up live.
Yeah, so we'll see you in a few days. If you'd like to follow us on social media, @always_Stockholm on Instagram, @alwaysstockholm on Twitter. And I also like to say real quick, I saw that someone stole one of my memes and posted it on Reddit and got a ton of upvotes, and I'm okay with that.
Well, now, was this the meme format, or is this actually one of your memes?
Both. They did change the text on the bottom a little bit.
Okay.
But the format's the same. I think they screen capped my actual meme.
Do you have a watermark to know, or is this just
I watermarked a few. I watermarked a few of them, but I often forget.
Right.
Because I thought the use the voice one was like the best thing I'd ever done, and I watermarked that one, and then I don't know, kind of came and went.
Didn't hit the way you wanted it to, yeah,
or the way I was expecting it. But it's fine. I didn't get in the comments and roast the dude.
Well, I mean, in a way, congratulations, because that does seem like the meme world is based on theft. It seems
totally.
I mean, Coke got tweaked by Pepsi. You got tweaked by random guy.
Transformers got tweaked by GoBots. Yeah, no, it is like an honor to see someone. It was the guys only want one thing, and it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And it was Dennis saying crack.
Oh, okay.
Which is something I did.
Yeah.
But I put the whole line in. They just put crack.
That one, you've gotten your mileage out of that one.
That's kind of the joke.
Camping, cigarettes, something
Chestnuts.
Else. Two things.
Yeah.
Penetration.
I thought that was hilarious.
Full penetration. So good.
Because guys only want crime and penetration. If you put it together like that, it's very funny.
Yeah, and I that one works for me on both levels, because I'm like, should it be 4 things? Because he says crime, penetration, crime, full penetration.
Right. Yeah. I thought about that.
But it's also like, it's 2 things, but it's 4 things. Is it?
In case anyone is thinking that I'm just being lazy, which I am sort of also being lazy, but part of the joke is that you can use that meme for every episode of Always Sunny.
Right.
Because it's about guys and what they want, their base desires.
Yeah. It is a very primal, disgusting show. So good. And I think that those social media links, handles will be more useful in the coming weeks as we go sort of to a live system,
Yeah, we're going to be on the cutting edge.
People can interact. It'll be very dynamic. But as always, help other people find us by liking the show, reviewing the show, subscribing to the podcast wherever you get your wonderful podcasts, because that'll just make everything better.
And with that, William, I'll see you very soon.
I will bid you adieu. See you later, bitches.
Brought to you by the Nutty and New Network.